This is probably the dumbest show I'm going to watch this season, and I unapologetically love it. The legendary hero is dead is not a misdirect, it is absolutely what happens in this first episode. There's a legendary hero that deals with devils, these monsters that invade and pillage and kill, and unfortunately gets done in by our main character Toka, who basically he wanted to protect his radishes because all he cares about is thick thighs because they save lives. And he puts pantyhose stockings on them because it looks like thighs, and the fact that he actually has a business where he seemingly sells it to other perverted people is a story in of itself. But the fact that after trying to lure the monster by cooking some barbecue, but it apparently doesn't like pork, after the battle's done, this poor bastard walks over the tarp and kills himself because of this trap. And this little necromancer girl puts our boy Toka into the legendary hero's body, which is now zombified, thinking that he's an amazing fighter because who else could kill the legendary hero? And now we have the most useless person tasked at saving the world who can't even keep his sword hard long enough to please everyone. And if that isn't a joke, that is hilarious the more you think about it. I don't know what is. This is a perverted, ecchi, hilarious, fun adventure, and I am ready for more. Full live reaction available on the Patreon if you do want to see my full thoughts as I watch this first episode. And yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching this one, I think. And seriously, this one I thought would be funny. I read the synopsis, the trailers. I didn't really understand what the trailers were implying. There's this moment in the trailer where he was like holding up a daikon radish, and I'm like, okay, why is he obsessed with radishes? It gets so much more funny when you realize what he uses those for because they're the perfect shape to basically be a thigh. Our boy's down bad, and everything about him, like, he's not an evil character by any means, he's just kind of a perverted scumbag. I mean, he gets fuming mad because his childhood friend is like infatuated with the legendary hero who ended up saving her life, and he's like, if that a-hole didn't come in, I could have done something. Buddy was about ready to try to fight a creature with a hoe after his barbecue plan backfired. But I mean, it's gonna be a raunchy time, not in the way that it's like overly perverted and it's just so lewd and in your face. Like, they got shots that are meant to arouse for sure. But I love how they use the perverted humor almost high school DxD style, and honestly, it cracks me up. This isn't a show that's going to make me roll on the floor every other minute, but it's similar to South Park for me. South Park being one of my favorite shows, I consider it to be consistently funny. I may not laugh out loud at every joke of South Park, but I'm always finding it funny when I watch, and that's kind of how I feel with this show. There's some moments that are legit hilarious, but for the most part, I'm just like smiling. I'm like, this is so stupid and I love it. And it's honestly a fresh take on the whole powerful character has to save the world, especially given that you literally put the most useless character in the body of the most powerful character, and the mana that it takes to keep the necromancy going. I mean, he literally has the mana of a baby, so he can't do anything. The whole like, can't keep the sword hard joke is just comedy gold. So basically, there's like swords and stuff, you would use them and you'd cut down people. The first instance is when there's like this rival who's like, even if you have to cut me down, do so. And the sword goes limp and he almost gets burned alive for being an imposter. He already doesn't smell good, he looks a little different, so obviously it seems like an imposter. But when our other character comes in, who is, I guess, a longtime friend of our boy, of at least the original legendary hero, he gives him the sword and says, imagine a large sword and it will happen. And he does it. But a couple seconds later, the tip of the sword starts going limp. He's having a hard time keeping it up and keeping it relatively hard. And the fact that he doesn't have the mana to keep the swords hard is a joke I hope stays, because that is one of the best anime jokes I have seen in a long time. This show is unapologetically stupid. And I don't say that as an insult. This show is running with a goofy synopsis and with a character who you're really not supposed to take seriously. The thing on his mind that is most important is, how can I get more thighs in my lives? This is not who you want to save the world, or should be tasked at saving the world. And when it seems like he's about to get off because finally this necromancer girl realizes that he's not what he cracks up to be. I mean, she literally thought he set this amazing booby trap, and obviously that's why she wasn't able to get out of the hole. No, it was just coincidental that she fell into the hole that night after basically putting the kind of doing the whole body mind swap thing. But seriously, I love the fact that the most capable person to take over the hero's body apparently can't do so because there's some issue from years back between him and this necromancer girl. I mean, the party just is dysfunctional, and I'm here for it. I love comedy series. I mean, the only way this season could be any better is if we had season 1 of Konosuba airing with this show. But I mean, the Megami spinoff's fantastic, but it's just like, if you had the intro comedy of season 1 and Legendary Hero at the same time, back to back with that would have been next level. But man, this is a good show. It's surprisingly well produced, which the trailers for the PVs looked well produced, but you never know what that means for the finished product. But I mean, a lot of fun facial expressions, a lot of goofy facial expressions, not only just from our main character, but his childhood friend as well. And I think this is going to be one that, if you get a kick out of the idea of this one, that's what you're going to see for the remainder. I don't think there's going to be any hidden surprises with the comedy outside of maybe getting raunchier, maybe getting sexier, or getting more grotesque potentially. I mean, I wish I knew how he was able to swindle down a magical staff from 10 million to 1,000, but he did it a couple of times, both there and in the inn. There's going to be a lot of heartache for him, because had he just been in the legendary hero's body prior to death, he would be sexy, he would be powerful, and obviously he would be able to live out his thick thigh dreams. Unfortunately, he smells horrible. He gets hit in the head, his eyeball pops out. I imagine there's going to be a lot of zombified jokes where limbs are going to fall off, and it's just going to be a very fun time. And I mean, not to mention, the opening is probably one of the most visually creative, and just an absolute jam. I wasn't sure what to expect at first, like when the gate and the almost goo texture popped up with the words, I was like, what are we seeing? But very quickly, that opening was like, okay, I mean, there's a lot of good openings, there's a lot of good ending songs this season. But this is definitely a contender for best opening of the season. There's like a few shows right now that are really fighting for that spot, but I think this will be the opening that is easiest to watch every week just because of how cool it is to look at. But this is a surprise of the season, I think. I really hope this one, people care about this one, because I want to keep covering it on the channel. I'm probably going to do it on Fridays, but I might do it on Thursdays after my other few videos. But let me know what you're thinking, because if you want to see more, definitely let me know down below. But no matter what, I'm talking about this one on the Patreon live reactions no matter what. But if you do want to see more videos, let me know, because I think this one will be a fun time. I mean, it's not often I can say there's an anime joke about a dude who can't keep his sword hard, both literally and probably figuratively. It's not really like he's an actual hero right now. Maybe he can grow into the role. But right now, it feels like a very long journey to get there, given that his priority seems to be putting stockings on radishes because they look like thighs. He's gonna need a lot of beats to the head because the dude is just beyond helpless right now. But let me know what you're thinking. If you want to see more down below, drop a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Ring the bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel. And of course, as I mentioned, we're gonna be doing live reactions over on my Patreon every single episode. So, until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.